And good morning and welcome to Locked In Stitches. Excuse my little coffee. Okay, how are we going today? As always, I am Julie. Thank you so much for sharing time with us today. I'm just making sure that all of our that everything is going as it should. Okay, yes. So, how's everybody doing? It is a cold one here today. We have 5 degrees outside, which is just chilly as. Because I've kicked everybody off the computers whilst I'm doing this class. Grace has gone out for the morning. Cameron's gone to work. And Emma's decided that this is a perfect time for a nap. But what we're doing this morning, and I can see we've already got some people in. I've got Naomi. Hi. Dasanka, thank you for joining us. And Michelle Reynolds, thank you for coming in. I've also, of course, got the important things. I've got the coffee and the water. The one thing I did forget was the cough drops, so we need to hope. I've got some great new products to show you this morning that have just come through this week, and that will be my afternoon getting them up on the website. But today we are going to do the Stitch in Time, the sewing machine shop, the craft shop, call it whatever you will. Now I love this design because it is, and I'm just looking around again to try and access. I never think of things until my mouth starts moving. Okay. So this is our finished design. And Linny Dixon, good morning, Lynn. I hope you're having a great day. I love this one. This was actually the first design in the series that I did. So it allows you to customize the name of the store if you wish. What we've also done here, and this is the part that does take the most time, so it might be one that knocks you off just that little bit, is every single one of these shutters or different colours on the awning are individually set down. So it's probably the most stitches. And when I say the most, this design has 51 stitches in it. 51 colour changes. So what I've done is I've come through this morning and I've done what I consider to be the boring bit. Ah, damn it, I forgot to turn off the auto caption. Let me see if I can do that. That should be a bit better. Okay. So, isn't it nicer when I'm stitching at the speed of light? This took me about half an hour to lay down the fabrics, which really isn't too bad, but I just wanted to give you guys a nice viewing experience, so I thought I would speed up through it. The rest of it we're going to stitch in real time. Honest. Okay, now of course your colour guide tells you exactly what you are stitching. Oh, Dasanka, you're in holidays in Bali. I'm betting it's going to be warmer than 5 degrees there. Have a wonderful trip. We'll talk when you get home. And what you can see with the awning, the first colour goes down as a single colour. So we are at least saving some time with the stitch out. And good morning, Helen Cassidy. The funny thing is, as I was doing this morning, and every time you see a pause there, it's generally Grace coming in to see if the pizza dough she was making up is the right consistency. Because it's so cold and there's so much moisture in the air, we're just having so much trouble getting the right consistency. I think she had to use an extra half a cup of water in the end. Okay, so you can see it's very nice and quick as I'm doing it in this side, but you can imagine that that takes a little more time. So Grace is making calzones tonight. Cameron made me chips from scratch, and okay, and that is our stitching. So we reduced it down from about 28 minutes to about 3 minutes. And that just makes it a hell of a lot nicer for us to then be able to come over and go to our machine. And what I've got here is I've got my my fabrics all laid down, and I've got my thread selected, and the first colour that we're using is the thread that is going to be used on the brickwork or woodwork. So, how's everybody's week been? Anybody done anything exciting? Like go off to Bali? That counts as exciting. I've had a nice boring week, which is exactly what I wanted. Ah, son of a gun. Wouldn't you know it? The one thing I didn't do this morning was check to see if I needed to put a new bobbin in. I believe the answer might be yes. So, let's come through. And the answer is yes. I get to have an exciting day on Thursday. Somewhere I've never been before is court. And my darling 13, 14-year-old niece, who has been a little bit of trouble throughout the past 2 years, has gotten herself in some more trouble, so has to go back to face court for the second time this year. And we really want to support the child's mother and the child. Like, you know, you can love the child but not like the actions. So my sister's away, my dad's away with one of the other nieces, so this one's on me. Michelle's banished her husband to the caravan with COVID. And did you all see this morning, and aren't you sick of opening up and looking at the news, that now they reckon reinfection can happen within 4 weeks? I need to go and get my 4th jab. I don't know if any of you have had the 4th jab yet, but I've only got 2 weeks before I go up to Queensland. And to be quite honest, I'm starting to feel reasonably good, and I don't want that to stop. So I'm going to wait to have the jab until I get home from doing Morayfield and Cairns and Townsville. The other exciting thing that I did was I went, well, not so much exciting, kind of depressing really when you think of it, was I went to the optometrist yesterday and got my eyes checked and did all that important stuff. And so I've ordered my first set of multifocals. So ideally, I'll be able to see to thread the dumb machine. Okay, now I can see that that's glitching a little. And reset. That's working better for me, so hopefully should be for you as well. So tomorrow afternoon I'll head up to Dad's, even though he's not there, and just to add to the joy, the youngest of the nieces, I think she's turning 11 this year, has decided that she wants to have a sleepover. So you do what you do, but loving how this, and it's a kind of a dirty grey, has blended in for the stonework. On Thursday night, I'm going to show how we work on the silhouettes as well. So keep an eye out for that. I've got a sister-in-law who lives in Queensland, and I've made the plan that I'm going to drive to her house and then she's going to drive me up to where the Sunshine Coast / Morayfield show is. And she put on Facebook yesterday that she's going to go to Melbourne for a holiday for her mother's birthday. So I very quickly called and, oh, that's lovely. I'm so happy. And, people do not have to change their life around me in any way, shape or form. It'd be nice, but, it doesn't happen. But, yes, thankfully she's only going for a couple of days. Okay, now I want to show you some of the new things that we've got in stock, and I've just got to pop up onto onto the website. This is a gorgeous $5 keyring, and you can see it's got the sewing machine, the scissors, the tape measure and the iron. And then do what you love and love what you do. And they have been selling out at the shows really, really quickly. So I'll pop those up this afternoon. The other thing that I've got is these beautiful, and this is because you've all begged and asked, number 5, so the thicker zipper pulls. in the sewing machine style. So you can now do that chunky zip. And this is my rainbow zip here in the number 5. And pop on a sewing machine zipper pull for them. So they'll be up this afternoon as well. I love it when the machine is just stitching beautifully, and there is just such a zen about it, isn't there? When I was picking colours this morning, for me it was just all about picking something that was brighter than the day is here. Lisa, you're going to have to give us a note next time, darling. Just terrible. Happy to have you, darling. Thank you for coming along. Daisy Muir, first time watching. Thank you so much for joining us. So you're saying you just bought your first machine. What machine did you buy? Just because I'm really, really nosy. Anyone else find by the time July comes around that you're willing to wish time away? I'm just over winter. I'm ready for spring. Oh, the Stella Air, lovely. So you've got some really nice, sexy big hoops there. And you're going to have so much fun with this. So I joke that the first thing that everybody does with their first machine is everyone gets towels for Christmas. It's just such a nice, easy gift to do, and you really feel like you're using your machine beautifully. And it's certainly what I did with my machine the first year I had it. Okay. So we're coming around our stitching. And our next colour is going to be all of this lovely green. So all of those shop outlines. Excuse me for having to look at my hand there, guys. I did get very frustrated. I went to a shop called Oscar Wiley for my glasses. And when I made the appointment, I said, like, you know, I've been to Specsavers, and the upsell that they do, it's just da-da. And I said that I didn't want that upsell. And the girl who served me on Saturday was lovely. The guy who was selling me the glasses come Monday, oh my God. Do you want blue light reduction? Now, this is one of those, if anybody else is in the market for glasses, blue light reduction is one of those great BS things that they're telling us for anybody who ever uses a computer or a tablet or a phone. So we've all got to do it, but there's actually no such thing. I've got a friend who's an optometrist, unfortunately in another state, and they told me it's just one of those great upsell sort of things. So I left there feeling so frustrated, but Ems was with me, so Emmy and I had gone out and had a great day to out at the shops together, and she helped me choose the right glasses to get. Okay, Michelle's got to go. Oh man, yeah, COVID and men flew together. I've told my children I'm the only drama queen our family needs. Now the other thing that I'm doing this week is I'm taking part in the Great International Craft Show, and I will put a link up, and it's going to take me a bit to show it all, but this is a stained glass panel that I have made, and check out the quilting. I'm loving how the quilting just perfectly goes around it. I found this red grunge fabric and I thought it just really adds to the project. So as well as creating the stained glass in the hoop, and I will do this as a project, I'll probably do it as a project at the end of October for Remembrance Day, because I think the Field of Poppies is such a good one, and it'll be a 2-class project because we'll do the quilting, and I'll show, for those of you who haven't done it before, how to do the quilt as well. So that's going to be 2 classes at Great International Craft Show, and then I'm doing the butterfly wings and the notebook cover as well. So if you want to get in early and see the videos of those, it is free to watch live, and I think I'm on at 2:30. Let me just check. Oh heavens, Oscar Wiley know I was talking about them. They want to know how my experience was. Okay, yes, I'm at 2:30 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So as always, you'll notice with my satin stitch, it is a satin stitch that then has 2 rows of triple stitch around it to finish it off, and it just gives it a really beautiful finish. I did have somebody ask me the other day, from a digitising point of view, what stitch do you use so that you always get that stitching on the side? And I had to explain, no, it's not a digitising stitch. I stitch each piece 3 times. I digitise. So I digitise the satin, and then I do the triple stitch as well. And I do love how these little boutiques are coming together. They're just looking so pretty, and I'm loving them in the small size just as much as the larger size ones. Now that we're halfway through the year, I'm starting to think on what next year's block of the month's going to be. We did have a lot of interest when we did Craft Alive Canberra, and I had the Rock the Casbah up on the wall. So because I had the small Rock the Casbah, it was really interesting. People, I've only seen it in the white. And just being able to show how great that looks in that different colorway with all of the wash away thread removed. It just looks so stunning up on the wall. So if you are in Queensland in the next month, do consider coming and seeing us. And the other thing that we're going to do is Ed's, I'm trying to find a different word, a synonym for nagging. Oh, thanks Naomi. I love showing how things can be done in different colours. And that's why I do these blocks in different colorways as well. Synonym for nagging. Ed's suggesting that I need to get rid of some of my samples because I've kept every quilt sample, etc., that I've made for the past 18 years. So what we're going to do is at each show we are going to we're going to do a lucky dip of sign up to our mailing list, and you go in for a chance to win whichever quilt we're getting rid of. So, and look, it's not going to be the Rock the Casbah, it's not going to be the ones that I've done in the last 12 months, but think the candle wicking quilts. Some of them do need to be quilted or have backings put on them, but if you're a person who likes to stitch for charity as well, great way to do some of that. And one of the ones that I am thinking of for next year because I do like feedback, more or less. Not from family. One that I had fallen in like with. And I have no interest in the whole zodiac thing myself, but this struck me as something that could be a beautiful quilt and have those touches of masculinity to it as well. So that's something that I am thinking of as next year's block of the month. And I love as the thread starts to come along, and you can see here, just as the detail starts to come together, it really does make it into that shop. So we're getting our doorways, and of course this is all being digitized so that it covers, so that any stitches cover each other up. Increase that slightly to 600. What I love is, and it's kind of like speeding. You can change your, if you go 5-10 kilometers over the background, it really doesn't make any great difference. You might save 5 minutes in your in your life altogether. It was the worst thing when the GPS came in and I worked out just how little speeding changed that 9-hour trip from Sydney to Melbourne. But oh heavens, Camo needed his last 10 hours. And because there was a craft alive on, I thought I'm going to go down and catch up with some of the retailers. Just to have a bit of a drive. So we did that. Oh heavens. That was a 10-hour drive to Albury and back, which is just a boring drive. To the point that I, fell asleep. But he's a good little driver. He didn't need my help that much. Okay, and on to our next colour, which is going to be going around all of our windows here. So I'm using white, and I've added texture where I can. So I've used a spotty white fabric that I had in my stash, just to try and give that little bit of extra detail that you won't notice from a distance, but you do when you're close up. I'm hoping to get time this coming weekend to get my coffee cup, sorry, not my coffee cup, my actual coffee pod carrier made. And I'm thinking that I am loving how that zipper pull looks on that number 5 zipper. I was umming and ahhing over whether I should go the black. But nah, there's something to be said for that iridescent colour. Need to find a nice gift for sister-in-law in Queensland to drive me up and around when I need it. And Michelle Reynolds came back. Thank you. Now, a question that I do get over and over is, why do I hoop this when I've got the basting stitch? Wherever possible, hoop. When it's not possible, use the basting stitch. Just on colour, thank you. And Selena's with us. Good morning, Selena. How are you doing today? So I know Queensland schools went back. ACT schools go back next week. Thank heavens. Although Boyo's now finished school, so he's at the whim of Coles and their shifts. And he wasn't that thrilled when I didn't want to drive into work this morning. Yeah. Oh, but I start at 10:40. I said, yeah, well, I started at 11, so work out a way to get there yourself. Oh, still battling the end of COVID. I get it. I got very disheartened last week when the doctor wouldn't give me the medicine that I felt I needed. Because it's just taken so long to get over some of this crap. And one of the things that I did was, and I'd asked my doctor, probably going back a month, to give me a referral to the long COVID clinic. I think 6 months we can call it long COVID. So he did, but he didn't bother putting on the cancer stuff, or the autoimmune stuff. So the long COVID clinic has more than a 12-week wait. And I'm at the end of that 12-week wait because they didn't bother putting any of that down. So I called the clinic and just had them make a small note on my chart. So now I'm just waiting for my turn, and I'm really hoping that they just give me, and look, I'm kind of hoping that they give me some exercises and some lung stuff to do to start to feel better. I lost 30 kilos, but because I really have been too exhausted to move, it just means that between my thighs and my stomach, there's, wibble wobbles. But yeah, Selena, take it slow and only do what you can. Now, I cannot believe it, but I'm already up to colour number 48 out of 51. Okay. So now we are going to do, and I've only used one colour. So even though I've used two colours along here, I've only used one colour to outline them all. Now, have any of you travelled over the last couple of weeks? Only because I'm interested in whether the dramatic crap they were saying about the airport is true or not. Like, were the lines just, horrific, unbearable, yada, yada, yada? Okay, if you're looking at me stitching along here, I'm only doing 600. At the beginning, oh yeah, I was doing 500 and I sped it up to 1,000%. I'm liking the colours though. I'm feeling very spring with the colours. And I spent most of the past weekend fitting projects using the speed of the that's available on the video camera into 45-minute slots so that they can be shown on Craft Alive. There's nothing like spending an entire day stitching and then breaking it down to 30 minutes. So is anybody doing anything Christmas in July-ish with their stitching? I'll be honest, I haven't this year. I like the honesty there, Selena. Yeah, I think the pink was the right one. I'm glad I went the pink and not the purple. I hear what you're saying there, Selena. My darling husband has learnt his lesson and went out and went through the office and found my really heavy duty Visaflex product, you know, double-sided sticky, and just hemmed his own pants with that. He realised it was never going to happen. And it might have, like, you know, I'm not totally heartless. So then we come through from the other end. Well, see, problem solved, Selena. Husband bought himself a flannelette shirt because he's still waiting for the one that I can make better. Nah. Cool, problem solved. I do feel a little bit bad this week because we're redoing the flooring in the lounge room. I've always hated where the stairs in the lounge room are. They mean you cannot put any furniture along there. And it's only 2 steps. So as Cameron's doing the flooring so that we can, or so that I'll pay for his registration, I suggested that this might be a good time to move said stairs. So initially Grumpy Hubby looked at me and said, "It's more effort than you think it is." Okay, not a problem. And then I thought, okay, I believe him, but now I need him to tell me why. And yeah, it's really, not that much more effort. And if we're going to do it, it has to be done as we're doing the flooring, otherwise it's never going to happen. So I let him sit on it and stew on it and think about it. And finally, last night, when Son was saying, okay, I'm ready to do the next bit, are we moving the stairs or not? He committed to moving the stairs, so yay! Oh, and also just the joys of children wanting to make money. What can I do to make money? Well, I told Grace she could clean my car. She asked me if I'd pay her earlier for it. And a week later, I don't have a clean car, but I am out the money. So that'll be changing tomorrow morning. Yes, the teenager thing might kill me before before I get through it. So you can see, because we've got so much more detail on this veranda, this is what does take up, or awning, sorry, not veranda. This is what does take up all of that extra time in stitching. What you will notice, because it's been an interesting week actually. Somebody was contacting me, not sure whether a design that they'd purchased from somebody else was something wrong with the design or that they were doing it wrong. And what it ended up being was a mix between tension and when this digitizer, and because I'm not going to mention names, changed the sizes of the design, whether so going from an 8x12 down to a 5x7, they didn't change the size, or they allowed the computer to set the size of the satin stitch. So you had like a 1.5 mil satin stitch, which is never going to cover anything. So when I set my designs for all the different sizes available, and you get all the sizes when you buy the designs, but I'm always making sure and coming through and redigitizing these satin lines so that it's always going to cover up our fabrics. And Bernie's here with us. Thank you for joining us, Bernie. And what I'm loving is I've only got 2 more colours to go. Now, biggest question has always been with this collection, how do I change the name of the shop? So you might want to put, if you're a shop owner, you might want to put your own shop name in. I had somebody this week who wanted to use, because I'd done another sample with Stitches Be Crazy, and they wanted to use that. And it is really, really simple. It is just a case of setting it up either in your software or on your machine, and then coming through and skipping the step that stitches that out. Sometimes, like in this case where we're doing black writing and other black detail as well, it means you've got to pay a little more attention. But, that's all easy. Never ever true molding machine stitching. Okay, so last colour is our black, and it's going to do our detail and it's going to do our shop name. Now I'm going to leave the shop name as the stitching time this time. I will, of course, change it on Thursday night, as I am wont to do. And if anyone's got a good shop name for me, let me know. And I will, but I am going to show you what I mean when I say stop the machine and skip past it. So we're starting off with our machine. And because I'm still using up a roll of kind of crappy thread in my black, I have, I did pop a couple of drops of thread serum onto my thread before I began. So as it goes to go to all the different spots, all I'm going to do, no, unthreaded itself. Bugger. I do love the little dress form. See what I said about crappy thread? When you get to really little bits, such as all the detail stitching here, it just doesn't like it as much. So thankfully, this is a small piece of our stitching. While it goes through just this bit, I'm just going to slow it down that little bit. So the sign today is going to say a stitch in time. But if you've got a different, a suggestion for a different shop name that I can use on Thursday night, that'd be great. Okay, so we've got all that detail there. And now it's going to come into our fabric. You can see how those scraps and squares turn into actual bolts of fabric once we put the outline on it. Whether we're going to do our open side or our shop wrap. I don't know, door handles. Duh. I did like the scissor open side. And it shows up so well on the lighter grey background as well.
That's looking lovely as it comes around. Then we're doing tiny stitches there, so I'm just going to slow it down. And one of the things you'll notice on all of my chic boutique collection is every shop is open. Now, if I wanted to put a different shop name in, I would stop the machine now and I would use my inbuilt lettering in the machine to put my own shop name in. Because I want to continue and do a stitch in time, I'm just going to click on go. We can speed that up just a little. Now let's see if we can find some craft shop names. Let's see. Craft-tastic, Craftatorium, a touch of craft, Uber Crafting, Craft Shack, let's see,
Seamless is a good one. So Good Seams, The Tailor's Daughter. Inches of Stitches. Sass and Sew. Need a Needle. It's hard. Stitch Nation. So it really is so over it. Oh, that might be a good one. Needles and Pins. All Tied Up. So yes, there's a couple of different ones there that we can choose from. And we're so close to being done. Trish G, thank you for joining us. Trish, if you are in Queensland, then you need to check out where Craft Alive is. I'm coming to the Craft Alive shows with 6 embroidery machines and we are doing classes. Okay, so what we've got here is our finished design. Let's have a look. Come up a little bit maybe. Okay, loving how that is looking. I'm going to trim that thread there because it's bugging me. But thinking that that is looking beautiful. And that is the next in our block of the month. So what do you think? Can you think of a way that you could use that? I love using the design on little zip pouches. I love using it on bags. And I'll find a picture of the bag that I used it on just to show you. So that's my finished bag, and it is going to be one of our bags of the month this year. It's just going to be later on in the month. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you've learned something today, or at least inspired you to go and get on your machine. Next week, I think it is, and I don't know why I'm doing that around my neck because it's not a dog collar for me. It's a dog collar, and the concept is really about how to stitch on those difficult fabrics, how to line it up, and get it perfect each time. So I look forward to seeing you then. Until next time.